Okay, so as a part of lesson 103, they also want to cover some National Electrical Code familiarization, and I think that's tremendously important. It can't be overstated. You guys have got to become masters of this code book for sure. So we're going to try to hit a little bit of those key points here. So you can see we're in the 2017 edition. This is renewed every 3 years. We're about a year into this edition. We'll jump ahead here. I think the first thing I want to look at is the table of contents. I would say this is probably the most neglected portion of this code book. A lot of people want to go right to the index. In my opinion, there's less information in this table of contents, but to me that means it's easier to find what you're looking for because it is pared down a little bit. So I would say if I know what I'm looking for has its own chapter, I'm going to the table of contents because I can find it a lot quicker. If you're not sure if it's got its own chapter, you might find the index is a little more helpful, but you'll kind of learn your own preference as well. But you can see here, as we talked about in the last video, we do have chapter 1, chapter 2, chapter 3, and then we'll jump over to chapter 4, and those are kind of all your general use instances. So you can see right away, chapter 1, the biggest thing you're going to find in chapter 1 is your definitions, article 100. Don't neglect that. You're going to find a lot of good answers in article 100 for sure. Then we get into chapter 2. A lot of your studies are going to be right out of this chapter. For instance, chapter 210, we're going to learn everything we need to know about branch circuits, receptacle spacing, branch circuit requirements, what needs to be GFI'd, things like that. We get into feeders, we get into more circuit calculations. A huge one for everybody, you can't avoid it, is 250. That's your grounding and bonding article. We will spend a lot of time there. The other 3 years of the program spend a lot of time there as well. Over into chapter 3, you're essentially going to notice here there's a chapter for every, or an article rather, for every type of raceway, every type of cable. So again, you can look through here, you can see an article for EMT conduit, for MC cable, for NM cable. If it's a raceway or a conduit, it's there in chapter 3, and that's why this is such a long chapter. You can see that actually encompasses about 3 pages here. Then we get into chapter 4, equipment for general use. So you're going to see, again, just as it says, equipment. So we have panels, we have cords, we have all kinds of, again, things for general use. We're going to see motors, you're going to see luminaires or light fixtures. So then we'll jump forward, kind of your special occupancies. Okay, so you got your hazardous locations here. You see some of the interesting ones, substations, mobile and manufactured homes. There's actually a houseboats section here. We'll go down to, I'm sorry, I think I missed one there. So yeah, chapter 6 is special equipment. So you're going to see, I think the big one recently is solar photovoltaic. You see electric signs, outdoor lighting. We jump down to chapter 7, that's your special occupancies. And then chapter 8 you're going to see is communication systems, a lot more specific. Chapter 9 gets very important with your tables. Particularly you're going to spend a lot of time in your table 4, table 5, table 8, table 9. We'll get a lot of time in those areas as well. But again, that's your table of contents. I think it gives you a really nice overview. I don't want you guys to be unaware of this, but we do have an index which can be really great for, where to go here? Which can be really great for sort of finding the more specific things you need to find. Say you know the questions about an agricultural building or an aerial cable. Do I have a section on that? I'm not really sure, but let's look and see where it actually appears in the book. And then they do give you sort of the page number as well. If you notice, all the page numbers were 70 dash whatever the page was. Again, that refers to NFPA Article 70, and then it tells you the page after that. But again, that's kind of a very brief overview of the NEC code. Very important book for you guys. You're going to spend a lot of time in there. You're going to have to familiarize yourself with it. But again, it's laid out in a very uniform fashion. One more piece I want to point out to you guys. Let's just pick a chapter here. I'm going to go to armored cable, AC cable. So you're going to see here, what do we have? This is Article 320. Okay, so anything in 320 is about type AC cable, for instance. Some things to point out: we have 320.2 is definitions. 320.10 is uses permitted. .12 is uses not permitted. The reason I point that out to you, because let's go over here to non-metallic sheath cable. Remember that common numbering system we talked about? guess what? Dot 2 is still definitions. Dot 10 is still uses permitted. Dot 12 is uses not permitted. So we have that common numbering system. Every time you see dot 10 or dot 12, you can know that's going to be uses permitted in this case, or uses not permitted. So if you can remember a couple key articles, so if you know, yeah, I know 334 is my NM cable article, and I know that dot 10 is uses permitted, you're effectively memorizing chunks of the code here, and that can really be tremendously helpful. I'm not going to encourage you to memorize the code because that's impossible, but try to memorize and understand how it's laid out, how it's organized. That's really going to speed up your interactions with this thing, and hopefully make it a more enjoyable experience too. So again, very brief intro, but that is intro to your NEC code book.